going on, Wastelanders? Welcome to another beautiful day in Sanctuary. Actually, this is the a new Let's Build. I got a couple requests in PMs on here on YouTube, and they wanted to know in some of my other videos. They saw that I had all the Shack Foundation piers lined up perfectly with my Shack Foundation floors on all of my homes that I'm currently working on in Sanctuary. And you can see here that I pre-do all of this. Every home that I've set up, I make sure that the piers are on there, and then I just start building on top of that to get all of this going. Obviously, this tower is a freestanding thing that I built, but anyway, you can see over here, you know, I still have a lot of work to do in Sanctuary, a lot of decorating to do, but I've got 19 beds already, and no, they're not all crammed in. We'll get into that in a little bit. I'll show you some of that. But the main point is to take a look at how I do this from the get-go. And as you can tell, I didn't go over the carport on this one because this house is a pain. It seriously took me like an hour and a half just to get this going because I counted out correctly, but for some weird reason this carport was giving me fits and it simply would not go up there. So I ended up having to wipe that whole section out to get it to work. So if you're not familiar with fixing the holes in the roofs, there have been several videos about this. You know, this is absolutely atrocious. I certainly wouldn't want to sleep in this house with all these holes in the roofs. There are several videos out there, some great videos. YouTuber No Respawns, who's one of my favorite YouTubers, has some great videos on fixing this. And if you haven't checked out his videos, go check him out. Give him a like, because he puts together some wonderful stuff. But this is actually, this will be the house that we'll work on for this video. And the important thing that you want to do, if you haven't done this before, or aren't familiar with it, you need a clean corner. This is considered a clean corner. There's not a bunch of debris, I mean, other than leaves. The leaves don't affect any clipping or anything like that. What you don't want is, I think it's this blue house here, has a really wonky corner in this bedroom. Yeah, see how it has this metal pole or wood or whatever that's supposed to be sticking into this corner? This makes it kind of difficult sometimes to get the placement right, and it just doesn't want to act right. So find yourself a clean corner. See, this has a bunch of debris in it. This house was a bear, like I told you. I ended up actually having to base it off of this wall, which puts me in the middle of the house. Let me tell you, that took a bit of calculation. But luckily, this blue house over here does not require a bunch of finagling. This is a perfect corner for it. And I've already counted it out. And based on you see these squares on the houses here, 5 of these squares actually equal 1 of the floors. So if I grab a floor here, we'll just look at this one, and if I drop it down right here, which is actually pretty close, there, we can see that, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, and into the 5th one. And because we're actually over this edge, you know, this edge here, if I scooted this floor over, more like that, we can see that it's 5 of those tiles. So if we look, we're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we have this carport. So we're going to need 5 floors wide. And we look at this house, and it's going to be 1, 2, 3 and a half. So we'll go 4 deep. So now we know, and the houses are different sizes, so you may want to take a look at this and count it out. I don't know why I'm, oh yeah, I can carry this over there. So 5 wide and 4 deep. So we're going to use this empty foundation here. And this is going to be the basis. And this certainly doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to grab a wall. And I don't have anything close enough, so when I grab all of this, like it's not going to grab this tower here or anything like that. You want to make sure that you just have enough room to work. So we're going to come into our floors. We're going to grab our upper shack floor here. And remember, we're going 4 deep. Get back in the build area. And that's 3, 4, 5 long. So we'll go ahead and drop all this back in. And some of them use like regular shack floors, double stack them and all that kind of stuff. Because I'm putting another floor on top of this, I'm not worried that these floors don't completely seal up the roof. Once I put the piers on top of this, it certainly fills in well enough. Now I'm going to leave this last hole. I'm not going to fill it with a double shack floor just yet. I want to actually grab these stairs, put those in place, because then when I grab them up here, they're going to snap up, and now I can grab my shack foundation piers and snap it onto that, and this is how you get it so that they're perfectly lined up with the upper floors that I'm now standing on, because they line up perfectly. And you only need to do the outer ring with the piers for visual sake, you know, so that it looks like it's being supported, because as the roof pitches up, you're not going to notice that you don't have piers there. It'll still look like it's fully supported. There we go. Okay, so we can actually get rid of this stairs now, and we can put in our double floor there. Finish this off. But this works out really well for a basis for building up in Sanctuary. Okay, so we have all of our piers down. We're going to squeeze out of here. We don't need this big floor. It's too bulky to manipulate. So we're going to grab one of the small floors, snap it into the corner, and just for good measure, I always come down and grab a rug. And as I've said in other videos, I like the big blue rug here, not this big blue rug, this blue rug here. As you can see, I have 7 in storage, because I always forget them everywhere and find them later. But we're going to go ahead and set that down, and then we're going to hold on Xbox, it's A, on PlayStation 4 it's X, and I think on PC it's R. So we're going to select hold so it picks up our entire structure. And now we're going to run over here, and we're going to throw it in this house, and it's going to fit perfectly the first time. Now you can see that the window is on the front edge. Some of them you have like, you know, you have like these windows that stick out a little bit. What am I thinking? You know, I've actually been, you know, construction worker in real life, and I can't think. Bay window, there we go. Some of the bay windows stick out a little bit far, so you're gonna have to watch out for that. Now, I'm using the left side of the small shack floor against that section of the wall there, and I'm using my right stick to kind of pivot around so that I make sure that I'm nice and even. And then I'm looking at the wall section as it goes through to make sure that it, let's scoot over here a little bit better, that it's even, because if that wall's even, then I know that all my upper roofs and stuff like that, it's going to be even around the house as I go outside. I'm going to push this just out just a little bit, then we're going to go take a look at it, and I shouldn't get any interference from anything. And as you can see, I'm right up on that edge, but it's not actually showing up, so that's nice. But we'll come back here and look on the back, and here's the problem, because it was 3.5 if you remember, and we went 4. This is sticking out a little too far for my liking. It just doesn't, it's hanging out just too far. So if we come back in the house, because there's nothing, I haven't built up anything close around this house, I can come in here and hold select, and I can actually push this back out, and I think I'll push it about right there. I'm actually looking at the small floor and where it lines up here, just as a visual representation. So now we can see that it's just barely pushing through, but this is cool because if we came over here and grabbed another floor, we could actually snap it right to the front. But you can see it's not sticking out too far. But now if we come back here and look at the back, okay, now that's much more manageable. We could still bring it out a little bit more. Suppose I could go through here. That's certainly faster. We're going to press hold, and I don't want to go too far because I don't want it sticking out of the front of the house too far. But now if we come back here and look, that's a whole lot better. Looks more like eaves, big eaves on a house. And again, we have the small eaves. You could balance it out, but I'm going to call that good just for what we're doing. And as you can see, it goes pretty much, if I move this wall out of the way, it's right there. We're not going to have any big gaps. We went over the carport, and you can see that our calculations were pretty much exactly right, because otherwise we'd be sticking way out here if we went with a 6th section. But the 5 sections certainly worked perfect for what we're doing. We can snap all along the front. If we look at the carport, we can snap almost all the way along the side of the carport. If I let's grab a bigger floor here, just for, so you can actually see that it will snap there, and it may actually snap right there. I don't know, but and I'm running into hedges. That's what the problem is. But yeah, it'll snap all along here. So it gives you lots of points to snap ladders, other floors, walkways. You can put bridges underneath this if you wanted to. But we've certainly covered the house. And if we come in here, we can look up and see that there are no real gaps anymore. We've taken care of the roofing issue that we had in this home between the the upper shack floor and then the shack foundation piers above that. We've certainly well protected our settlers from, nuclear rain. So that's how you do that. Real quick, someone also wanted to know about man, I'm drawing a blank today. The generator. There we go. The wind turbine up at the top, and how it looked thicker than they normally do. And the reason for that is, well, I kind of stack them on top of another pier. Let's get up here. We'll take a look. And you can see all we have sticking up is the chimney, which is not a big deal. You can typically stack some crates around it, build a wall around it, do whatever. This is actually close enough that if we remove this one, which we should be okay doing, we could grab a wall, and the wall will actually snap there. And then we come back and grab our flooring, which was actually, that would work. No, that wouldn't work because that's a concrete foundation. But we could grab an upper floor, put it right back there. So we could build around this whole thing if we wanted to, or I don't know, there's any number of ways that you could kind of get around this. If it was a little bit shorter, you might be able to grab a table and put a table right over the top of it. I actually did that in one of my other ones. And speaking of nasty rain, here we are. But that's not going to... what happened to this one? Where did it go? Did I not put it in? That's okay. We can put it in now. We have the ability. So we'll grab that. Sometimes it's better to get low and snap it into place. The angles on this game are kind of weird sometimes, but that's alright. Alright. So, we'll get back up here. We're going to talk about the wind turbine real quick. I'll give you guys a quick tour of one of my more finished sections. And so you can kind of get an idea as to what I'm doing. I'm just throwing up any random walls at this point just so that I can throw a upper shack floor on here. And I'm going to do a couple of them just so I can maneuver around up there without falling down much. Because I do that a lot. That's good. Now we'll just grab some stairs. That's actually a good use. Look at that. Put that chimney right underneath there, so you could actually create a 4th floor if you wanted to. But for this example, I'm just going to... this is what we're going to use, and you could certainly hand place it. That certainly works. I like using the shack stairwells so that my floors snap in properly. I see that there's a little bit of a gap over there where the foot's not quite touching right. Grab this, flip it 90 degrees. Now it looks like it's touching the actual floor over there. It's a whole lot better. Okay, so now that that's out of the way, let's get our staircase out of the way. We're going to come over here to electrical, to generators, come all the way over to wind generators. We're going to spin this bad boy around. Make sure I'm walking in a place where I can actually like step and not fall off. We're going to bring this thing back and we're going to push it down. And it will go into place. It's kind of finicky, to be sure. And I'm looking at the very top of my screen, and there. Okay. So it's not perfectly centered in there. It's close. And I will pick it gently. And we'll rotate it around just a hair. There it is. Alright. So now we can see that this thing is pretty much centered in there. And that's how I do it. So that it looks beefier than just the 4 little legs that come on it. You know, you have these extra support looking legs. So it kind of fills it out a little bit more. And how I've wired my sanctuary is that each home ties into the big pylons on the road. So each home is feeding into the collective. And then, of course, I'll build another generator room, you know, behind a building or something like that at some point. But that's how you do it, folks. That's how I get the shack foundation piers up there, instead of having to lay just the shack upper floors and then climbing up there and trying to fight to get these into the right position. This is a lot faster than the other way of doing it. Not that the other way is wrong. That's just the way I like to do it. Now let me show you, let's see, this house is one that I've been working on. You can see I moved most of my stuff over here. I built this whole section on to it, and you can see it's not connected. It's actually sitting right on the edge of the carport, but it looks like it's fully supported. So that's what I'm going for. But let's go up there and we'll take a look. But yeah, the only thing I can't move is the freaking workbench. Bethesda, if you're listening, this is what I want in the next patch. I want to be able to pick this workbench up and take it wherever I want to. Okay? I'm not saying scrap it. I'm not saying store it. I should be able to select it and move it somewhere else. Why do you tie me to this house? I don't like this carport area because I can't move this stupid lamp. Why can't I move this lamp? I just moved a 2-story wooden structure, but I can't move, delete, or store this lamp, and I can't pick up this workbench and move it somewhere else. This lamp gets in my way, so I end up not using this area with the other workbenches. I move them all over to this house. Look, I got my chem station. My cook station's in the middle of the road right now, but I got my armor station. I got my power armor station. I got my weapon station all over here. They could have been over there if I could move the lamp, but I can't move the lamp. And I can't move the workbench over to here! Come on, Bethesda, get with it! Well, okay, rant over. So, I actually did have weapons. You can see I have Molotov cocktails and brass knuckles and knives. I had a minigun sitting on here, and I had the cryolator sitting over here, and a rocket launcher, a bunch of stuff. But I needed more space for building, so I used the workshop weapons glitch, where you drop the weapons and then pick them up in the workshop mode and store them to, you guys know. If you don't know, then you know what, I'll try and find a link for you and put it in the comment or in the description below. Anyway, as you can see, I started decorating this one. This house decorated not so much, but we'll come up here to my bridge. Got a workstation or a guard station there. So we'll come up in here, and you can see that I've created little pockets up here for each of the beds. So I didn't want them all in one big room. I wanted to give my settlers a little bit of space. Again, I haven't done a whole lot of decorating over here in this one. As you can see, the chimney is lower here, so I can take this table and put it right over the top, kind of hide it a little bit, but when I finish, I'll have chairs around it. Look, I haven't even put my railing in here. I could fall out the window. But over here, we actually, you can tell I did a bit of decorating over here. Got a radio set up there, some seating, a couple guard posts. But when I come over here, I've done a little bit more decorating. This table used to be here before I decided I wanted to put a bridge, but I moved it out of the way. So anyway, I've got lights in here. I found that settlers like ceiling fans. It helps with happiness. I don't know why, but it seems to work. And I've put foot lockers with each of the beds, and I've kind of created a little TV watching area. Got some more storage over here, a place for them to look out, at the mountains, a radio over here. So lots of little decoration, but one other thing that I did is I removed a couple of the piers over the carport, and I created this other station for my guards. These two beds are for two of my guards. You can see I got luggage and foot lockers, and I had to hand place this wall. I kind of had to slide it into place. As you can tell, it's not lined up with any of the flooring. So I went and stacked a bunch of crates and stuff in front of it just to hide the hole that's back there. But it seemed like a good place to put a bunch of crates under the stairs. I'm not going to do anything else with it. But that's going to do it, folks. That is how I get my piers lined up with the upper shack floors when I'm doing the roofs in Sanctuary. Until next time, Wastelanders, take care out there. And this is Draco Invictus saying, see ya!